the Hive. We are back with another episode of, I'm sure we planned something, but I don't know what it is.
Maybe.
Probably.
Just kidding. We are here to talk about branding and marketing. So if you're new and getting into PR, we've been, each of us have been chatting with people who are like interested in like, how did you get started in production, and who are the people to know and wanting to network and stuff. So we thought we would look over some of the things that we like and don't like, or just kind of be open about it. But I also want to welcome JaneyLaney. Hello, yay! So I met Janey through XR Safety Initiative, where we do work for Cyber XR Coalition, and it's about inclusion. And I think this is really cool. Janey founded Black Minecraft, and she's also apparently a MVP. So we're in the presence of someone very important today. But she's a and she plays. Okay, she's new to PR. Okay, so we thought we'd get like some perspective from her because she's also a partner at Facebook, and she's got a lot of experience with streaming and community. And we thought, hey, let's just kind of go at it instead of always talking about it behind the scenes with 10 people at a time. That we just do a little bit of a panel and kind of talk about our experience and some good ideas and bad ideas. Oh, me too? Okay, so then, just kidding. Well, I'm going to talk about this first because it's recent. But I woke up, didn't have my Red Bull yet. Navah had already sent me 10 messages about a commercial that I'm sure you guys saw was released from Oculus. It was introducing the Quest, and it was with I want to pull it up right now, but it was with two guys who were playing like next door to each other, and but when they're in the hall and see each other, they don't talk or anything, but in game they're like best of friends, and then they like tell the other to like be quiet and stuff, and then it ends them going back into the Quest and playing the video game. And I'm gonna find it and play it, but Navah, why don't you talk about like what it was that?
Why did you wake Vivian up for this?
Well, it was 10 a.m. my time, so the main thing I was just, it said ready, that was the tagline, ready. And I didn't feel like it really told the story because this is the holiday message. This is what's going to go out to all of my friends. They're going to see it, their husbands. I mean, they're already questioning certain things. Now they're going to be like, oh, so it doesn't connect you? I thought it connected you with people. Oh, well, they didn't mean to say they hate their neighbor, but they love their VR friend. So the Quest is ready. Here we go. This is the neighbor love the coat.
Yeah. Fashion sense. So,
Echo Arena.
Right. Yeah, Echo. And look, they're just like, right. Okay. Oh, and here she is like, right. He's playing. Look at that. And here she's talking about his problems about something like personal. Here.
Exactly.
And then he says something in an elevator. No idea what he says.
Talk to me. He's like, don't even talk to me.
That's totally me. I'm gonna say that's me. I'm putting that on my resume.
Here they're like smiling with each other, having fun, but they're mad at their neighbor. Like, come on, quiet down.
Yeah, and
which in VR, that's a quite common occurrence where you're so aware of everything that's going on outside of you that you get really mad at someone else being loud. So that makes sense.
But your closest friends are ready, and like Janey said a great point. Why is the girl just sitting in the background? Where's her headset?
Yeah, she was just so out of the loop, but she knows that she's the one who bought it for him. we have made up a narrative. Not made it up. I'm sure we did some deep research. Okay, so I totally understand what they're saying, but I was not fully awake yet, and I wasn't prepared, and I half watched it because work and stuff. But Navah was like, "You don't seem as mad as I do." So then we watched it again fully, and then we discussed this type of branding. So this is Oculus's, I think, obviously like holiday kind of like commercial.
One of their first like holiday teasers, so it's the gear up to Christmas where they're trying to get people to buy headsets.
Yeah, and so Nava, let's hear your like thoughts on, well, what's good about it.
I really, really enjoyed watching the fashion. It was in line with like a techie guy and then maybe a business guy. That was good. I liked how they incorporated the holiday in the elevator.
Feels
But
festive.
I didn't really feel like, okay, that was the positive from it. That it's Quest. That was
She's digging
positive.
it.
Yeah.
There were people in it.
I might have rather seen avatars at that point.
Okay.
That would explain why they're not friends and they're neighbors. Because
Yeah.
you shouldn't promote that, not to love thy neighbor, which is why I have my Mr. Rogers sweater on today.
Dang, she's good. Okay, so I watched all the way to the end, and that's when I was like, okay, I get it, because I thought they were gonna like figure it out. You know, that, oh hey, what a cool thing we have in common.
Well, it is a first. It sounds like it's a first entry in a series of spots, so it could be telling a longer story, which might be, maybe we just haven't seen the second part to it. Maybe it's going to resolve the characters for us and make sense. But
You're so nice. They're not watching.
No, I think Mark, you did a terrible job. Because it describes like the opposite of the experience I've had with VR, which is I have met really awesome people online and then met them in real life. And this is more like people who aren't friends in real life, and the VR almost seems to like drive them further apart because like, look, that guy just gave him a weird look. He doesn't like that he's playing VR. He's like, what the heck is this? You're so lame. You've got like these goggles on your head. We're gonna talk about that later. And and then they're getting mad at each other for being loud. First of all, you're both being loud. I don't see why you're getting mad, but it's almost like it feels like it's driving apart actual social communication as opposed to what VR in my experience has done, which is like foster actual communication between people. So I don't know, it's a weird commercial.
Okay, so your closest friends are ready. Quest is ready. So yeah, I think that there was a lot more that they could have emphasized, but I don't know about you guys, but people in my IRL make fun of me for being VR or using it, which is like,
want to buy it though.
Yeah, they do, and some people really like it, but if I say like, oh, I casted a game or I played a game or something like that, or I was hanging out with my friends, I always hear like, your real friends or your virtual friends.
Well, a lot of those people who do that, it's because they haven't had the actual experience. Like a lot of the people who literally do that, they are very one-dimensional, obviously. And so they can't fathom what it's like to actually build a relationship or any type of rapport with anybody that they can't see face to face. So really, it's their cry for help. They're just like, lead the way, but they don't want to come out their face and say it.
She's so deep. I just,
Janey.
yeah, I just thought they were jerks. So, okay, but so Janey, you have a quest, but you got it like this year, right?
Yes.
And you haven't waffled into it too much, right? Okay, oh my god, she does not like this. Okay, but I want to hear from you, what's your perception? Because like we've all been in it for years now, so what's your perception coming in, especially now you get to be introduced immediately to the quest, whereas we were wired.
Right. So my perception is like totally different because even though yes, I'm a gamer and I game for a living, my first thing I want to do when I tried out the Oculus was not game. I actually did not want anything to do with video games because I wanted to see what all I can do. So I decided to be Bob Ross, right? And I like downloaded a whole bunch of like art apps, and I was out there just painting my life. You're supposed to like beat the devil. Remember when he always says you just beat the devil? I was out there Okay. So
love
I was
that.
having I was having a whole lot of fun. I then decided to do some of the more socially interactive apps. Those presented another level of scary that I did not know I could ever feel online. It was so
Yeah.
weird. It was like really walking into a room of people that you didn't know. Like so like it was
weird.
it was very immersive. I felt okay, mind you, this is after I went over the whole entire nauseated phase. Okay, so this is like
Okay,
a few hours later. Okay, so I was kind of used to like things being in my face, but like I felt like my actual room, I felt like the temperature changed. Like it felt very like I was there. I swear I was there, and kids were touching my virtual hair. It was a whole bunch of kids running around. It
I'm
was
so
wild.
sorry. I wish you knew it before children,
Yeah,
ran amok
yeah,
across our metaverse.
but there were
Quest
so many
VR used to be the thinking
um,
man's environment.
Yeah.
but there were so many, and like I was actually amazed. Like I was like, wow. Because I didn't have a bad perception of VR before. I just had a very confused perception because like I'm into 3D and I'm into 4D shows. You know, like you go to 4D, they spray the water at you and everything like that. I'm used to that, but I'm like everything 100% virtual. Like how real can it get? And it was just so wild. I was really, really, really happy. And so I started following some of the companies that I saw their apps on the Oculus and just getting into like their beta programs, trying to find out more. Also trying to meet more people who use the headsets as I hope headset the proper term because we can't say goggles.
You
The googly eyes.
No, I mean, when I think goggles, though, I think about like going swimming and
Yeah.
like the kids that their little eyeballs can't take a little bit of chlorine. That's what I think about when I think of goggles. But yeah, so so I want to find out the people who actually used it for business. I'm very business oriented, so I know that there's a wide array of games on it. I tried that the next day, but like my first thing was I want to know the type of business people that use this because I'm like, it was when I tell you this was so life changing for me, I was like, yo, now you don't have to go into a meeting and look at everybody looking crazy in the face. You could just go virtually and just see their avatar, and you never have to look at their face.
And you never have to wear pants.
She works with
Well, because I was not wearing pants when I did it either. So
See?
it just
It's great.
was all types of fun. I like people. It's just VR allows you to like people from a distance, a long distance.
I think it.
And then when
Yeah.
you're tired of them, you could either mute them or just remove the headset.
So then, do you think that your experience was accurate to this commercial?
Not fully. I really don't like the commercial. I don't like the commercial because it was just way too geared towards your average male gamer versus the actual things that can be done with the headset.
Sure.
So it was just more of it was like a bad car crash. I'm sorry. The commercial was. No offense to anybody who was in it. Matter of
Mark.
fact, those two men were very nice. Shout out to the woman in there. Okay, but like it just was not.
She was
it
looking up
didn't
sandwich
drive me
recipes on her
away.
laptop.
Probably.
I think
like be an artisan.
I think that the market, it looked like they were just geared towards like just the gamer market. But I agree,
Yeah.
I personally like it more. But they wouldn't like put a commercial like that, I think, for like business people. But we did pitch a commercial, not to Oculus, but it involved the Quest. And I thought our pitch was good because we wanted to convey that it was like people of all ages would enjoy it, or they would, compete, but like you together, even in the same space and far away. Like we were going to use one of our games, like O Shape, something like that. So I think that's what we were trying to go for because I think that's what resonated with us. But let us know, people in the chat, like if you haven't used it, like what do you
But
think?
then also, what I also do think about though is sensationalism and holidays. Holidays, the goal is to get that commercial out there. Bim bam boom, have somebody jazzed up about it, let it go. So the fact that you can amp up, and no offense to guys, but this is just how you guys are. When you guys see something you guys think is cool, as long as there's yelling and stuff going on, you are hyped up and ready
Go
to spend your
team.
money. Like, I'm gonna be honest.
That's how I get my dates.
Yeah, just see.
I'm sorry.
I love it.
I'm here for it. But like how I low key saw it, and I don't want to like list any brands or whatever because I don't feel like we should have to pay to say your guys' names. But at the end,
But there's
if
a
there's
sponsorship
like a yellow
opportunity.
tag, if there's a yellow tag with BB on it, it's so what that one store that everybody goes for their electronics. It's so should like popped up with like some like lights and stuff like that, some holiday lights, and it would have been right there.
I feel like
So,
it didn't capture the amazingness of VR because I mean, let's think about what Christmas Day encapsulates. Like, what's the best thing about opening a cool new piece of technology on Christmas Day is that you get to show it off to people. That's the day when you're around family. You bring the Oculus headset, the Quest to the family member. You stick it on grandma's head, stick her in a roller coaster, and be like, Grandma, this is it. This is the future. Or you show her, you walk her through Google Maps or something like that. There was no showcasing of, because there's a lot of like asymmetrical experiences available for the Quest and stuff like that. Like, why not show that this isn't just a solitary experience? Because this is what it showed. It showed two adult males being really alone in their own world. So alone that they didn't even like care about their neighbors in their real lives. Like, show the social. It's so weird that this was like, they were talking about it being Reddit, it being like a community and a social thing, and yet it didn't show any of the social potential of it. It didn't show horizons at all. There's no mention of that. It didn't show you them really interacting with a group of people in VR, which is one of the most amazing parts to do, not just one other person. And it didn't show the asymmetrical aspect where it's like you can bring this to a group of friends, put the headset on, and they can still participate in that gaming experience with you, even though they aren't in the headset and you only have one of them until everybody adopts it, which they will.
how many guys actually want to do that though? Like, let's just be honest. How many guys really want to share the experience?
I
They
think
don't.
Wow.
There are a lot.
Are we going back to the other topic?
But on this point, you know what I think? Like you mentioned before, it's a three-part story. Well, during holiday ads, you don't really have the time to do this whole story unless you're buying an ad for a big show, which I don't even think there's anything coming up because Super Bowl's in January. So
yeah.
Another area is like, this is the biggest time to really promote VR. They put so many dollars behind the metaverse that it makes no sense. That's where I would put all of my dollars in then. Let's get real people and just go on the streets and interview them and like hand them a headset and see what they do with it. Or, I mean, there's a lot of marketing companies out there and agencies that can do a marketing persona and make sure to target them and give ideas that are actually using it. This is the problem. There's so many product people in Meta. It's all so focused on engineers and the engineer mindset, which is great to create products, but to promote the products, they're not the audience. We are, and I mean, I know guys in gaming, they're in Horizon sometimes, and they love their community. So they actually like to connect. So I just don't know.
Yeah,
why
that was your question.
There wasn't a part two at the end of that ad, like dot dot dot.
To be
like some type of
continued.
ellipsis that shows like maybe it's a story, and then you can go on to facebook.com or meta.com/Oculus and find out more about the story about these two characters, and then you can like use your augmented reality app through Spark AR, like make it an experience. But no, they didn't do anything. They just
Yeah. Why not an app or a little mini game where you can make them be friends and be nicer to each other and get that woman in a headset?
No,
Or
well, I didn't like that their roommate or husband and wife or girlfriend, whatever, just looked at them weird because that's so common.
That was
Like,
most-
There's so many parodies of like like people in VR looking ridiculous, and that's why I think what I was told that people don't like to try it is that they like they look a little you look silly in it, and that's kind of what kind of emphasized. The one part I did like was that when they were just kind of playing casually, and he was kind of like talking about something that was a little bit more personal, because it is that, but that's really hard to explain to people. There's so many other things like pass through, like just showing kind of the cool stuff that is possible, but also there are, I mean, again, it's still new, so we're evaluating it based on what we've seen in the past before VR. But when I look at VR content, it's usually like a person walking in, they're good looking, there's the headset, pick it up, put it on, and you're like, portaling through. So
What I
it'd
think
be nice
you've
to see something a little different.
I think you've touched on one of the concurrent problems with marketing VR and especially visually representing any kind of VR technology is that it's hard to really encapsulate that experience into a way that's digestible in a flat format. Which is why I think, like Nava was saying, is like getting those reactions of people putting on the headset and experiencing VR for the first
Yes.
time, because when you have VR and you put someone in it for the first time, that's the best part is when they realize what this is and realize that they are, how immersive it is and whatever. It's that feeling that, like, I don't know, like, and that's very Christmassy to me. Is it's like when I first put on a VR headset, when I experienced VR for the first time, it felt like that childlike wonder and joy that you're kind of always searching for at Christmas, but like, as you get older and older, you get further and further away from it. It's harder and harder to capture. And like VR was something like that was just like, this is just really cool. Um, I feel like encapsulating that, because you can't really represent what it's like to be in VR on Pancake or Flat. I think that would have been a better thing to show rather than little clips of games and
Yeah,
whatever.
it's it. Okay, so so Logan in the chat is saying he asked people why they're not all in on VR, and he thinks most people think it's not ready yet, or it's an extra to their gaming experience. And he's not sure that the people understand the whole thing, which is true. You do have to try it. Again, probably one of my favorite reactions was showing it to one of our customers, like older adults, and she was just like, I just don't get it. And then she put it on, and then when she was done, she took it off. She goes, okay, I get it. Like, it was just so cool that she's like, I get it now. So there's those types of things. But I think that we collected a bunch of footage, because I think all of us have like footage of our friends or family trying for the first time, and they're hilarious. It's fun. Like, I think that would have been a lot more. So, okay,
I
fair
wish
enough. You guys have convinced me. Next point, on to pancakes. Okay, all right. So I had to say it because we keep talking about it, but JaneyLaney is, well, I guess I can't say she is a pancaker, because apparently this is like hurtful towards her because she prefers waffles. No, but we say pancake when we're talking about 2D games just because it's
hungry.
flat, and I think it's cute.
I have a question. Do you think in France it's a French toaster?
Or crepes.
Ooh, a
Crepe.
You
creeper.
want to be a
I
creper?
want a
Ugh,
crepe.
that just
No,
changed
I mean, I
my
want to eat a
mind.
crepe.
Yeah,
But
no.
I don't want to be a creeper.
Yeah, you're a creeper.
Right now.
Okay, that's what it is. You're a pancaker or you're a creper. Like,
A creper?
Let's just,
yeah.
is there something not good about that? Let's just stick with pancaker.
Yeah, it's
You've convinced me now. Okay, so that's that joke. All right, so one of the things that we do in VR, because I won't speak for everyone, but I have experience in like in branding and technology and just working with like strategy, and I learned so much from like my colleagues and how they plan for future programs, and we plan things so far in advance that, like, when I tried that method with other people, they were just like, this is nothing that we do. People kind of just sit around and like, well, what is about this idea? What about that idea? Okay, sounds good, kind of a thing. So, so it's a little bit different when I was, working with folks inside of VR, and it's not frustrating. I always feel like, oh, this is a good opportunity, but I feel like just like people who don't play VR feel about looking at it, I also feel that like people in studios or devs or gamers don't really see the value of marketing or branding
Oh,
or properly. So we're gonna like touch on that a little bit. Um, we I okay, my complaint today over yesterday was I'm so tired of people saying goggles. You know, they say that like a Big Bang Theory. Were you using my VR goggles? Or in DC, because I love DC Comics, they talk about VR a lot in there. It's actually used like nefariously, unfortunately. And then also like Robin was raised in a virtual reality simulation, but they'll say goggles. Which again is just, their way of, I don't know what to call it, goggles, but
why
I
do
don't
they
know,
call it goggles? It doesn't even look like a goggle.
a
It's like this
goggle.
big computer on your face,
Well,
kind of.
because it goes over your eyes and people associate goggles with just eyeballs. I don't
So do glasses, though.
Well, yeah, but glasses already have a name that everybody agrees with. So,
Yeah.
goggles it is.
Yeah, I mean
It's a
HMD
goggle.
sounds fine, but head-mounted display sounds stupid. So,
Well, a
um,
head-mounted display sounds like you're wearing a monitor in front of your face that's attached on like a headband that's mounted on top of your head. So I can understand why that's maybe not the best thing, but it's just weird that there's so many like legitimate publications that get the terminology so wrong all the time or use terms like goggles as if this is an industry-wide term and it's not.
It's so weird that that happens so much that I've read probably in the past three years when I feel like it started getting more hype in the press. It just literally, there's always a mistake in every article. And I don't want to call people out because I feel bad. I know that it's hard, but I'm in PR. I know you have to do your due diligence and you need to understand the tech. You
yes,
need to be better than
you
the
do.
product manager in a way, because you have to know. I mean, I sit on forums and I just listen to conversations and then Google and then listen to more and then Google more and then, ask people who I've been around. But if you don't have that, if you can't ask people, a lot of people want to be quoted. There's a lot of indie developers and people in the industry that want to be quoted. So use them as a source. Hey, how do you call these?
Well,
I mean,
I think it really shines a light on the fact that they haven't done any research because normally you see this in articles that are somehow negative, usually to the VR industry, is usually when they're describing something or they're paying lip service to a press announcement that I think they just have to put out. So they're just doing that. So you can tell clearly that they have not experienced the technology. Because I think Nava, we were talking yesterday. You sent me a link to an article of someone who had attributed what was it, Horizons as a Microsoft product, which is definitely not. It's Facebook. It's Facebook's entry into
it's not
social
Facebook
media.
Horizon anymore, and people are still calling it that. And I just, maybe I'm just a little.
Well, I think part of it is perhaps we feel, or I won't speak for you, I feel a little protective of it because we've been working so hard in it, like building community,
Right.
building the actual world and experiences, and kind of like setting the tone for what we think the next level of online interactivity should be, which is like, we want it to be a safer place, more inclusive place. I mean, there's so much that people who started social VR were like learning from the users, like about boundaries, about like they don't want people up in their face, even though it's their virtual face. Like there's it's all of those things that like we were really passionate about, and then suddenly like Facebook is talking about it more, so people are like, oh no, should we just talk about it? Let me tell you something, and these are true stories. I've had someone come in to sell me VR, and not knowing that I do VR or whatever, never even tried it. I was like, what headset do you have at home? He's like, like the cardboard, my phone. I'm like, okay. So, so yeah. And we also had like another person who was like, yeah, you should check this stuff out. And he was like selling it to people. But I was like, they haven't tried this, and they were pitching it to other people who have also not tried it. So I set up the Vive and had people try it before these people came in to pitch, and then I had some of them tried, like, whoa, that's cool. And then when they watched the demo of their product, they were like, that's not the same. I'm like, no, it isn't. So I do feel like protective because we invest so much time in it. That like when but that's how it always is. Like people are always like, oh, let me get a piece of that, but at least get it right. Okay, get the facts right.
I
Yeah,
mean, but you. Oh, go ahead.
no, you go. JaneyLaney?
Um, no, but that's very understandable. And if you have outlets pushing this information out, there's no excuses, to be honest with you. Like if you're not an outlet, okay, fine. You get it wrong, you might get corrected, you might not, whatever. But if you are an official outlet and you are supposed to be telling people about this product, regardless, first and foremost, you should not have a bias in your writing if it's not supposed to be an article based upon your own opinion. If you're supposed to be pushing out information, you are supposed to use the internet. It's very simple. Internet is right here. There should be no reason why you're constantly getting stuff wrong simply because you're lazy. Because a lot of these places are lazy, or they do not actually want to respect the space. They just want to push out the article because they're told to go ahead and kick out 30 articles a month. That's not right. That's very disrespectful. That's like doing the obituary of a person who has passed on, and you just create a whole nother life story for them because you didn't want to go and do your research. That's not fair. So you guys have every right to sit up there and question people. Like, what are you even talking about? Why are they not interviewing you guys? Matter of fact, that's what these articles really need. They need to go ahead and talk to you guys, talk to the women, especially. Thanks, article people, because I know what you guys like to do. But talk to the actual source themselves. And that will actually help your writing because it will make you more credible. People are going to want to actually read your junk. I want to say crap, but that's not rude, but read your stuff because they're going to know that you've done your research. They're going to know that you also have scheduled interviews with people, and that you are taking the step and the initiatives to go behind the scenes to give people the actual information. It's not hard. So be mad. You guys be mad.
Yeah, and I don't even want them to interview me. I actually just want them to write a good story. I think of Jesse Damiani, Bobby Carlton. Like those are two legit writers. And I remember saying to Bobby, I'm like, hey, why don't you write for Forbes? You know so much about
He's too good
VR,
for
you know
Forbes.
about so many different things, and they're not really writing to it because he's actually going into the experiences of everything he does. He tests it. Where a lot of people, they get a lot of stuff, and I get it. They're busy. I mean, I'm in social media. I know how much goes through their desk. But you look at the John Constine, and some of the TechCrunch writers, and you just think to yourself, okay, if they can read it, I know they're busy. Casey Newton, I guess, right? That's the other one. If they can read it, then so can they. But the problem is they're writing it not because they care. They're writing it because they want to be a thought leader for it.
Well, I think that's part of the problem, though,
That's
is
fun.
that I don't think that they understand the damage they're potentially doing to the ecosystem here. Is that VR is this really cool place right now where there's not a lot of big developers. It's mostly all the game space and all the app space is mostly inhabited by small indie developers who are generally speaking really cool people doing really cool stuff on the forefront of technology. So when you come up with an article that doesn't sound very engaging because you haven't engaged with your subject matter yourself, you're doing a disservice to those people, and not let alone if you write, another one of the VR is dead articles because I guess you had to meet a quota and that was the only thing you could think of is to pile on a subject matter that clearly is not, doesn't really have a good case for it, but you're doing a big disservice to all those people in that community. You're harming smaller people, and it's disappointing that you didn't take the time to get to know the product at all, or at least talk to someone who knows the product well, or to get to people on the inside. There's so many cool indie developers in there. Why aren't you shining a spotlight on them? Like, do something a little different.
Well, why would they do that if the central well, if Meta is going to even be interviewing? I mean, the last couple of people that Mark Zuckerberg just went to interview with were not people in VR. They were YouTubers or they were Twitch people who had high followings. So, I mean, if he's going to do it, why wouldn't everyone else? It's just, you take the leadership to it. He didn't go to any of these podcast, VR podcast type style people who did video, or even like Thrill Seeker. I mean, not that he would be an interviewer, but or Poonanners or you guys. There was nobody.
Or just some of the creators. Like
Always,
there's so many
always
cool.
people that are outside, and that's how I know that it's for growth. That's all it's for. And I get it, it's a business decision, but if you're talking about being there for the creators and the community, like I haven't seen it yet.
But I think that's kind of what's cool about us too as a nation or like a community, is that we're kind of like we're technological outcasts. We got in on the forefront of a technology, we got on the leading edge, we bought into it, we believe in it. And the cool thing is that it's that thing when you put on the headset that you're kind of sold, you're kind of a believer, you've been converted, and then you become a disciple of VR. So it's sort of, I don't know, it's really cool to be part of that and to feel a little bit rebellious. So it's like, yeah, you guys can come at us with your goggles and your pancaker stuff, but we're VR is not going anywhere, and try the technology, try it, you'll love it.
Okay, so we think. Go on, Navah?
No, I just want to say one more thing to that. It's not even like just us. I mean, there's people that have been here before us. So,
Yes.
there's a lot of people that deserve it. I'm not saying us, I'm just saying it would have been really awesome to see top executives talking to those people, the people that have, because when you're an early adopter, it's a high risk adapter, not adopter. When you're an early adapter, it's a high risk because you invest a lot of money and time into the product. So there's a high return if something great happens. You think that the brand is going to be loyal to you at some level, and it's sad to see that it's not that way. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, there you go. There's another piece of advice. Be careful with loyalty, because that's kind of like a family friends type of thing, don't count on brands.
Not 100% loyal. I'm just saying, like, just give a dog a bone. Not a dog. But, right.
Okay, so we think that the people who are running the metaverse or whatever can do a little bit better marketing and including people, and that's also what we do. Is we help people get involved with community and then find like ways for it to connect, because ultimately that's what's genuine, right? So that's our advice. But now let's get into the actual community and branding. This is why I really like that Janey is here, because she can like tell us some of it is crap or whatever she thinks. So when you think about branding in VR, like what are the first things you think of that people are going to do for their logo? You guys know? Hello?
How come I'm the only one in that photo?
Bueller?
You are. Okay.
That's nice.
So we're saying that like headsets, like all logos are doing like the headset thing, which it's fine. And then so these are actually our pro streamers, and that's why they're on here, and I'm putting them on blast, and they know why, and they know what they did. So just kidding. They didn't show up. All right, so it's like what's the style? Like someone was talking about that line, like the pose before was like this is the look, or like mean or angry, whatever. But there's so many people whose headshots are like has a headset on them, and I think that is kind of over.
Well, I think it's over for us because it's not new anymore. But I think for the people coming in new, it's cool.
Yeah.
Is it? You think it looks cool?
You're part of the tribe.
Right. And I think it's
like
also
how many
cool
brands am
because
I?
you see it.
I had one.
Yeah.
It was like for me.
Okay. See, but that's the thing. These are opinions, and we definitely don't all agree and we design a lot of stuff together. So, for instance, at first glance, are you gonna be like, yeah, totally have Vivian help your branding? Check out her freaking crazy graphic.
I love that graphic.
Okay, first of all, 5 minutes. Okay, but we put out a bunch of different like logos from the community. A lot of it like comes from gaming, esports. A lot of people have the same logos, the same look, the same feel. And so, what brands are you like feeling? Oh, okay. Let me point out unicorn holers because they are the weirdest people.
I
Unicorn,
love that name.
yeah, unicorn holers.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Their captain is weird.
Yeah, no, she's fucked up. I don't suggest.
Oh my gosh, the hair of the unicorn matches yours.
A little bit.
Well, but unicorn holers. That's a great name. So
I didn't even know your name, Tammy.
and we also do like a lot of pink, as you see. And believe it or not, we did not come up like girls were like, oh my god, it has to be pink. It was actually Pooh Nanners, who is a brand himself. So a lot of people are coming to us and talking about like how they want to either start their own brand company or their own products or themselves, and we have to look at the whole picture. Like, are you doing exclusively VR? Are you doing esports only or focus? Or are you going to be streaming on camera like this? And is your name accessible? I mean, Pooh Nanners is just, well, that's fun. Having a partner named Pooh Nanners. But Pooh Nanners is a legend, so he can do whatever he wants, but like whatever your name is, you own that name,
I think that's a good thing to bring up. Sorry, is Pooh Nanners is a legend and he can do whatever he wants. But this is, I think, somewhere that people get stuck to when they're naming things, is that everyone wants to sort of think or pretend like they might be Google, which has the ability to make up their own name because they're Google, and they constantly use that as an example. So everyone tends to believe that they're like that 1 in a million brand, and that's not necessarily the case. Like, Pooh Nanners can get away with it, but not everybody is Pooh Nanners, and you should recognize that when you come up with names. Just say.
Well, the names, isn't it different though? Because like names in a game, yes, it's a brand, but you want it to be catchy, so people remember you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if everybody has the same catchy name, it's no longer catchy.
It should be.
That's what a lot of people end up looking at.
It should be catchy, but generally speaking, your branding should give the viewer or give the viewer some idea of what it is that you do or produce, or it should follow thematically your content. It doesn't necessarily have to be VR gamer, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's awful. Like, you have to find.
I know him. Okay, he's like retired.
He's not as good as VR gamer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Not either. That's what I'm gonna remember.
Oh yeah, and adding VR to the name, which makes sense when you're doing stuff for like social media. It makes sense to put VR in your name if it's.
And it's not just social media; it's for search.
Well, this is also because Twitch doesn't have, as far as I know, or they didn't have for a very long time, and they got rid of it for a while, doesn't have just a solely VR category. So VR is still very hard to search for and find unless people have that explicitly in their name.
Yep.
Because they hate us.
There you go.
Because they ain't.
Yeah, no, I love the Coletto's name. The Coletto's I thought was brilliant because it's a stiletto. I get it.
Yeah, she gets it.
Finally. And then I was always wondering why you have a lot of great names, but sometimes you kind of go away from it. Like, for example, Control something delete.
I still go by that. You think people call me Control all the time? Like, you have to be in control. Yeah, like control. It's like always there. But no, that's my gamer tag that I didn't make up. My teammate made it up.
Love that name. Because
yeah,
I do Control Alt Delete. I think of you.
Yeah, when I hear tech support say that, I'm like, what? But they don't say
that. Don't name after an IT function.
I'm going to show this logo, but this doesn't say VR on it, but it has a pun, which I'm all about. I'm all about the puns. And it's,
it's blood.
The rifle. It's not blood.
It's a paint splatter.
Well, I mean, it kind of is.
Okay, fine.
I've seen caught us.
Fine,
it's just pretty blood.
Okay. Yeah, well, we had to change it pink because actually we got a complaint.
Really?
Yeah. So
Tell me about it.
Someone complained.
Yeah.
They they said that it was not appropriate because of the controversies around guns and stuff, which is like a totally different topic that we can totally talk about another time. I know, but I'm like, it's a game. Trust me.
I'm confusion. So is Call of Duty inappropriate? Are we going to talk about the game being inappropriate or just the logo?
Yeah, I'm like, well, it's a killer logo. We had other names like Massacra, something like that. Or
How do you say? I hope you're putting that in. That just create a character with it. I mean, that's like a great name, Mascara.
Yeah, because we were thinking like, what's girly, and then we can kind of like put like a killer word in there. So, Kilettos. Another one that I came up with, but is not. It was a team name. It's Pandemonium with pandas, and that's what one of the logos was. Because I like puns, I suppose.
For me, can you make a new name? Because I've been my social VR life, but I don't think I really tell the story about my social media, my so-called life. It's after My So-Called Life because that was my favorite show growing up, and I need a new name.
You know what? Okay, we can rebrand you right here, right now. So for those of you who are like trying to decide what's my brand, what am I putting out there? First of all, if you're confused, don't worry, you're not alone. I constantly am because I love
alone
logos.
or confused.
Yeah, we have logos everywhere. It's like I'm drowning in people's logos, and because it's so easy to get now, you just go on, online, grab it, and put your name in there, grab a picture, and then boom, looks professional. So the landscape of design has greatly changed. But so with branding, it was like, do I do like Cliches, or am I doing Control, or other people outside of gaming know me as just Vivian, which is also not my real name. So so when you're thinking about that, think about like, of course, what you're doing so that it makes sense, but then also think long term as well. And is it something that is going to extend beyond gaming, or are you legendary and so you can go by Poonanners, calling him Pooh during a meeting?
I think Cammy is legendary, and I'd love for her to just talk about her name right now because I didn't know this.
Yeah. Let's rebrand Cammy.
I like my name. I got my name. I used to play Halo back in the day, and my strategy of playing Halo was that I would panic every time I got stuck in sort of like a bad situation, so I would just spin around and shoot, which usually involved me dying. So I named myself Kamikaze, and then I needed a Steam name when I joined VR because I hadn't really fleshed that out, and I went back to Kamikaze, and then I thought, why not just tack the A on the end just to let people know that I am from the north of America and not the middle part. So
I like it.
And when she says Ed, it's E-H-H-H-H-H-H-H, right?
Well, it's actually just EH, but for social media, apparently people have already taken my name, so I have to add more H's to the end because I'm very original.
Well, I thought it was Kamikaze. Like that's her attitude.
So someone pronounced that, yeah.
Does it not work?
I had a caster do that, and he was like, Kamikaze, ugh. That's how I felt about him too, so that was fun.
That's great.
That's not cool.
Okay.
And
side note, Loki hilarious, but only because I'm friends with her. And it's funny because it's Kamikaze, so a lot of people call her Kami. I call her Cammy, which it's not even her real name.
No. I got called Cam, Cammy, Cram,
Yeah,
Calm, Commie. I know some people just think I'm a communist. So
you have to think about this when you're branding, and and it's a good exercise to kind of go through and think about like what you represent, what you stand for, what you're gonna do. Like I'm gonna poke fun at my friends and so use them as examples, but let's talk about people who are prominent in the VR community and well known. German Rifter. What does Rifter mean?
I feel like he's gliding.
Okay, you have to rebrand it because it used to be for the Oculus Rift, which ripped.
Oh.
Yeah, see?
he sounds like I thought he was like a thief, like a grifter.
Grifter. I sometimes think to call him that because that's a DC character.
He's so nice.
So yeah, well, hi.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, hello, Daniel. Then there's also VR Gamer Dude who told us that he was like, maybe I should like kind of drop it, which it's fine. He's VR gamer,
Dude.
and he grabbed Dude because there was only like three of us in the beginning, so you can kind of take whatever name you want. But like he
A lot of
branded,
pressure though.
yeah. Well,
You don't have any name, but you don't know what you should have. What
yeah,
should I have? It's
right.
like a website when the internet started, or a URL or domain, whatever it's called.
So the names, um, but yeah, I'm over the goggles in it's I feel like it's been spun around and done so much. Like I wonder if that's what they try to do with Meta, like, oh, it's like goggles or something. I don't know.
Oh my.
It looks
It
like
looks
a
like a
weird
pretzel.
pretzel.
But it also looks like a lot of different logos. So, but
I thought it was the infinity sign at first.
yeah,
Maybe
there's a lot
maybe
of
it's a
different.
reference to that. That would make sense.
It also looks like one of those fidgets.
The fidget
Try to
spinner.
like have to like kind of it's in this like U way, but I know that they think there was a girl from Instagram that made that logo. I don't know if she works for Meta, but I thought she was an indie creator, so I kind of let that one go because the name in itself. I just feel like your Facebook, you could have really come up with something crazy.
I wonder
Maybe
if
they should have hired you, Vivian.
I wonder if
What?
any
Maybe they should have hired you. What would you have named?
No. Oh please. I didn't even call Heather by her right name, so don't ask
who?
me. I would have called it. Well, go ahead. Were you gonna talk about Windows or something?
I was saying I
It's
wonder if anyone like saw the focus group and was like, "Hey, that kind of also looks like a pair of blue balls."
Thanks for that a lot.
I just wonder. I'm just
We are
asking
now.
questions.
Well, if you're wondering, she does wonder about this a lot, so it's fine. uh, that's a good point because like it sounds like it's like a not a conversation you want to have at work, but it's true. Those are things that like we think about in marketing. Like, can it be used like as a meme? And some people don't mind that, but I will tell you that personally, for me, when I'm thinking of branding, depending on what you are, I like simplicity because that is easy to replicate and recognize. Like people who have like really intricate like logos are it's hard to redesign. It's got a lot going on, and so like what I always say, like, be careful that your logo isn't a graphic, because some people actually just have a graphic
Yeah.
and
Right.
it's not actually a logo. So I like simplicity like this. I don't know how I feel about this, but I like what they're trying to go for because it's just recognizable, like
Yeah.
the bird, or like the bird and the or the F, or Oculus. I loved Oculus's logo because it's just like,
Yeah. It encompassed. It was the O, but it also looked like a visor, just subtly. So it
yeah.
wasn't.
Maybe it's the O from Oculus bent and moved around.
See, now you gotta hire
Ooh.
Navah to spin it for you.
But
What do you think? I want to hear JaneyLaney, which is
I mean, what about the meta? Uh,
no. What do you think about names? Because JaneyLaney,
uh,
I love the rhyme of it. It's so
um, so when it comes down to names, first and foremost, I don't like it when people put exactly what they do in their name if that's not what they're going to be doing for the whole entire time that they exist.
I feel
Um,
attacked.
no, no. I mean, at least, like there's some names that can traverse throughout different areas. Fine, but then you have some people who do such and such gaming. Why do you don't have to add gaming at the end of every single name? You sound really kind of weird, because the moment that you decide not to game, you're going to have a bunch of people in your chat like, I thought that this was a gaming channel. Well, guess what, fool? Drop the gaming. But I think that well, names, there are some names like, okay, JaneyLaney has like a ring to it. Like people enjoy saying it. I enjoy people saying it because it's just so funny to me. But not all the time do people even have that opportunity because they might be very like serious people, so they might not like a whole entire ring to the name. A lot of guys may not like a ring to the name until they see someone else's name is better, and then like, dang, I should have taken it. But I think that names are very important. It needs to be something simple. um Take out all those numbers that you guys have in your names. Take those out. You look like spam. um and even when you're emailing somebody, and you're going for sponsorship, when when you see an email with a whole bunch of numbers at the end, you will mark it as spam or just not even look at it at all.
Or unoriginal, I suppose.
Right. Or like you know that when you open it, it's probably going to be somebody with some long lost amount of money that they're trying to give to you because your dead grandpa from some weird country you've never been in
Okay,
has
that's a
passed.
story, obviously.
Yeah. I have a lot of those. I have a lot of those sitting up. I have a lot of dead people in my family. I should be like a billionaire by now. Like Mark Zuckerberg, I should be on your level, even past you. The amount of money I have sitting in my emails. But it's just simple things. Like pick a name that you relate with at some point in time. It doesn't have to be something where you like where this is just you, but like even if you have kind of like that alter ego. So like what I thought about really was what is my alter ego? Because like JaneyLaney originally came from when I moved to Florida, and people couldn't say my actual name because I don't know, they couldn't read, so they kept saying Janey. And I was like, who is Janey? I don't get it. So when I was in middle school, I decided to start trolling people at a very early age. And I kept calling myself JaneyLaney just because they'll be like, JaneyLaney. They'll be like, that's not what this is. JaneyLaney, that's me. But I stuck with it because it felt like it was my alter ego. It felt like it was just an extension of me. So when people are considering branding, if they're branding themselves, because that is something you do have to think about. Are you branding yourselves? Are you branding yourself as a person? Or are you just creating a brand that is not you? That's another topic. But sometimes there is a separation. But if you are branding yourself, like the first place where you can look at is your alter ego. What would you name your alter ego? If you had your own TV show, what would you actually name yourself? Because not everybody's going to want to like have their own name on their TV show. They're going to think of something like catchy and cool and just go from there. But I mean, I don't know. Branding is so different now. Nowadays you have a lot of people, especially with the uprise of YouTubers and TikTokers. Everybody goes by their first and middle name, which is sometimes cute, but sometimes it's so redundant. Like, I swear you look
That's
like
how they differentiate serial killers. So
Well, by the way, I do use my name because I had, and here was my problem. It was just me, and I didn't really have a community in the beginning when I started like right away. So I was just like, I have a good following on Twitter, so I'm gonna keep with my Twitter name, which I did in like 2007.
yeah,
2000 whatever when it came out. So, and I've been doing it since then for a living, so everybody knows me as that. So I thought at first I came in and I was like social VR, and I had the handle social VR, but then I would talk to people on Twitter and then talk to people in VR, and they wouldn't be able to connect it. And I don't know, for me, I guess you don't want to connect it. I get like the whole Ready Player One thing, but I was more scared. I wanted to know real people. I wanted to know their accounts in the beginning. But I love names like JaneyLaney, Control Alt Delete. Flirt, sorry, because you were known as you were flirty,
No.
And then
Try and shut down your computer right now.
It's just fun.
Yeah. Well,
And I'm Navah K.
But we're gonna do that. But Navah works, right?
I want to be
sounds
Navatar.
exotic, but
Navatar. That's what I want my name to be.
Navah
TikTok.
Avatar. I was gonna say like Navatar, like Avatar.
Navatar? No, that sounds like a scary dinosaur.
No, I like it.
Navatar.
It's like,
It's like
when you're Vietnamese, like us, we get to play around when we're like trying to do alter egos. Like my brother, this is when he was younger, but his like gamer or whatever was like Namander, like from Pokemon, because his name is Nam, and or when they do dress up as like Harry Potter, he's like what is it, Namfoy or whatever, what's his name? I don't know. I don't know.
Nick Frey.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Yeah.
Navboy, whatever. So yeah, those are like kind of like fun things. But I like Navatar. I'm gonna try it out.
Just let me know. I need to be rebranded because I'm reinventing myself like Madonna does. So.
Oh, be a symbol.
Yeah.
I don't. I actually have a big problem with the way Prince did that because I still called him Prince. It just never resonated with me.
Why? How would it?
Call a symbol.
Like, how is that? That's like, people that take like creativity a little too far sometimes. But no, do not be like a symbol metaphorically. I love the comments here. Mike Juliet, one of our partners, goes, seriously, he likes Brett. Like, how great is just Brett? Brett is like this awesome dude that we've met and have fallen in love with him. He's our mascot.
Brett's iconic.
He is iconic. You just have to.
He's like Cher. There's no need for any additional
immediately.
name.
Yeah, he is Brett. But you have to earn that. And Logan here says radio names Viv. Yeah, radio names. That's what we're talking about because Logan he's been hosting radio. So actually, speaking of dinosaurs. I'm just kidding. It's me. I'm here to like defend himself. I'm awful. So
you can catch him on the gramophone.
He's been around and he knows. So like it matters. And it's kind of like what's that one movie? That thing you do where they try to be like wonders with the number one. Wonders. Anyway, it didn't work out.
I love that word, wonder.
Yeah, but he's like nix it, just go wonder, with a W, and don't try to be like the Beatles because that worked, So
right.
Yeah. So think about like that kind of stuff. But so actually we really just focused on naming. There was so many other things that we wanted to talk about, but we're gonna have to like split it up into different things because we also want to talk about like probably like etiquette, and then actually getting into streaming. And then like networking. These are a lot of topics that we get asked to consult on, or people ask for help, and so we're putting it out there and kind of sharing some of our experiences and our knowledge for it. So, and I would say like Navah here is, I would say, the go-to expert. She has a lot of more marketing experience, I think, and JaneyLaney here. Well, she has good ones, and Janey here is she has like awards and stuff. The only thing I have on pedestals are like my Legos, so which I love. But so these are. There you go.
Oh, you can't see it.
There you go.
Oh my gosh!
Cool.
MVP.
Jeez, were you a cheerleader? Because you sing.
Navah is like a one-woman cheerleading squad. She's the entire thing in one person.
We're the best. Better.
She loves that clap too.
She does. That's how I know. Yeah.
Give it to me, baby.
Well, I mean, when we have Master Shake in the chat right now, when she met Master Shake, she just couldn't stop singing his name, and she's been
Shake your bum.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's a thing. I almost my life can be a song at times. That means I was happy. So
also a good song.
Yeah. Well, let us know what aspect of getting started as a personality is getting to you. I'm sorry, that sounds so like mean and condescending. It's just that we do this, but I don't always want to be, in the front. I like helping people in the back and, kind of like getting them started, because you can work with so many different people and then be able to output like different types of creativity. And so that's what I really enjoy. But some people like want to go out there, they want to make it big, they want to make it like make money or do it full time, and that's great. And I think some people kind of go into it with like a little too much, like there's so many people before them, well I could just do it like ninja, or I could just do it like so and so because they work for them, and that just doesn't really work because you're not being genuine to who you are. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah, I think next week we'll do personalities and how to
Ooh.
craft one.
How to have one.
You're gonna need
How
some
to be one.
cardboard, glitter, glue gun, and definitely at least 4 pairs of googly eyes.
And a little bit of sachet.
Yeah. Well, actually, and next week, Nava and I will be at AWE. So if you are there, come and see us. We will be talking about building community, or different ways that we engage with communities, more so than like, hey, let's come and hang out with me. Oh, we did want to talk about this, but we'll have to expand into another episode. But we were talking about all of these different brandings and how people can't just like stay in one place anymore. They're like,
So
then
then,
here's a game.
crazy.
Okay, so let's start a league for this game. So let's get our own Discord, and then, well, we're a team. We should get our own Discord. So they have
Oh.
one, and then like someone on that team is like, I'm such a cool personality, and people will love me. I'm so fun. I need my own Discord. Like, shut up. Like build each other up. That's the point. Like. It's like everyone's hanging out in their own room, which I guess in VR you are, but like.
Oh wow! Yeah, now you're gonna have your own
That's
home.
me. That's me.
Yeah.
It's like,
I have 2 Discords where I'm the only person in them.
me too.
I have one, and not because I did it on purpose, but because Discord sometimes hates me. But on that note, I feel like that could be another topic around community tools around commuting, because and please, everyone out there who's watching it now or who's watching it later, whenever you're watching it, it's real time for you. Put in the comments what you want to know as a brand, or as somebody who's in technology, or in just doing anything, and wants to have their own brand for brand collaborations as a creator. So, I mean, why not?
Yeah, and speaking for the Hive, you gotta be yourself, and that's what we will always try to like get at. Is like Poonanners, if you respawn, he is always talking about like you have to be genuine. Like people these days, they know you're fake. That you have to be like find a way to connect with them like for real. So, and that's important. Which is weird to like be like, let's teach you how to be genuine. No, I think it's more like let's encourage you to like to figure that out. So anyway, that will be that. So thank you, JaneyLaney, for joining us, and thank you, Kamikaze and Navatar, for hanging out with us tonight. We will be back next week.
Same time, same place. But I think we should have an after party in Twitter Spaces.
In Twitter Spaces. Got it.
Bye.